Episode loading. Play. You are listening to Freshly Squeezed Pineapple.
Howdo, welcome to Freshly Squeezed, the place where you can find your next favourite band. I'm Jim, and this is now a podcast that I can claim as award nominated after we picked up a nomination at the Independent Podcast Awards. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do anything, I'm not going to ask you to vote. I'm just sharing the news and saying thanks, cheers for the support. Maybe in a few weeks' time we'll be able to say we're award winning. That'd be nice. What is also nice is all the brilliant music that I have lined up and ready to go on this week's podcast. Before we get to that, what I will ask you to do is smash that subscribe button if you've not done so already. Follow button, I think it's called now. And also make sure you spread the word of the podcast to anyone who has a penchant for new music. I think that means they like it. But anyway, let's get to the important stuff. Who's on today's podcast? So this week, a band who have squeezed in some time to chat, despite doing loads of exciting stuff at the moment, like recording a new album and supporting Doves playing live. Apollo Junction on the way. We're also going to hear from the Harbours, who have just dropped their debut EP, which is a massive moment for any band. We'll talk about their social media smash as well. They've got them 3.4 million views online. Very nice. But the first band in this episode, just around the corner. But before we hear from them, let's hear a bit of them. This is the brand new tune from RIVIA. It's called Pieces of You.
You ran off the deep end. I don't wanna be like you. Unrecognizable from the person I once knew. I should've known better. I found it for a while now. I probably regret it, but I didn't wanna let you down. No, we can't wait.
That's new from RIVIA, the band. It's called Pieces of You, and this is the band themselves.
Hello.
Thanks very much for having us, man.
Nice to have you on in full force, and we're at the end of the summer, end of the festival season now. First thing I want to talk about is I hear it, you're absolutely smashed for This Feeling stage at the Isle of Wight Festival this year. Now the sun is setting. Does that feel like, looking back, the highlight of the summer?
Oh, it's definitely up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the first one that comes to mind. That whole experience was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, it was something else, and being up there again was amazing.
Yeah, we went down on the Thursday, didn't we? And we stayed for like the entire weekend. We didn't want to leave. Like, it comes to the end.
Which day was it you were playing?
It's Saturday. It was Friday. Friday we played. Friday.
Friday at 11 o'clock, just after Sting.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh, wow, okay.
And we still had that tent booming.
Yeah. So we were initially really scared, weren't we? Because we were like, oh, everyone's just going to be watching Sting and no one's going to be there. But we managed to pull a rabbit out the hat, so to speak.
Do you do that when you play a festival? Do you kind of look at the lineup and go, oh God, you've got this band on this stage at this time, who's going to come and watch us? And you kind of look for those opportunities and potential pitfalls.
I'd like to say we don't, but we definitely do.
Well, the other big news this year is you've got a new member, Rosh, joining the band on bass. How has that changed things for you both from that live perspective and in terms of as a collective and how you work as well?
We don't like her.
What a way to find out.
It's, the missing piece of the puzzle. Like,
you are too kind.
Brought so much to the band.
It's so much like creatively, and then also from like an actual like a working standpoint, like whips us all into shape a little bit, and is a whiz on the social media, so has helped us step up in that respect.
Definitely like pivoted us in a different direction from what we're going, and it's definitely been a good change.
Oh, yeah, so much for the better, yeah, definitely.
And not to mention the voice, like,
incredible.
But it's been the same for me too. Like it's been a bit of a change for me, and all good things as well. Like it's definitely been a better move for me as well. So it's been a good fit.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, and you never know what's true and what's made up, but did you get to the last 16 on The Voice, Rosh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, that was like back in 2013 I did that, and it was the Voice of Ireland. Feels like a whole other lifetime ago now, but like, yeah, I got to the final 16, so that was pretty cool.
How did you end up there? Because it seems like a weird juxtaposition doing what you're doing now with Rivia and a show like that, and the music that in general features on a show like that.
Yeah, I think like, because if you ask my friends now too, they'd be like, we did not see this coming for you. I always liked a lot of different genres of music growing up, but in terms of like my singing styles, they were kind of like more pop and more like R&B sort of. So yeah, I did it purely because I was finished school and I didn't really have any other plans, and it was my mum who was like, oh, why don't you just like audition for the Voice of Ireland? So I did, and I didn't have any like expectations or anything. I just, you know, gave it a go, but it went well. It was a good experience, and really interesting to see how all that kind of stuff works, you know, like TV and things. So it was really cool. But I think I always liked pop punk rock and stuff, so I think I was always going to come back to this in some kind of way, you know?
Well, punk pop is where it's at now, and I think Rivia as a band, your music's got this kind of retro 2000s-y pop punk but grungy element to it as well. I'm thinking My Chemical Romance, All American Rejects, Linkin Park maybe as well.
Yeah.
It's not a genre that tends to get a lot of love recently. In your minds, is it due a comeback?
I think it's one of those genres, isn't it? It's always there, but then sometimes it rears its head and comes to the forefront. But like for us, we grew up on all that stuff, and it's what we love, and the bands we'd stick on in the car are the bands we kind of want to aspire to be like. Yeah, I think it is kind of due a comeback. It's the 2 decades kind of thing, isn't it?
I think people like, they look at music from the 2000s, that kind of like new metal or the pop punk kind of scene and the emo stuff, and they think like, oh, it was cringy, it's, you know, whatever. But it was like, whenever you're out, if you go out in town, if you're ever in a club and one of those tunes comes on, everyone's singing it.
It's also
everyone's made up. Yeah,
time like people were actually having fun playing music. Yeah. Like we kind of take pride in that and what we do. Like we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're not taking it too seriously. We're having a laugh. And yeah, do you remember when music was fun, guys? Like,
yeah, literally.
Does your choice of direction kind of speak to how you approach music in general? Not just in terms of the avenue you decided to go in, you've not followed a trend, but in terms of how you approach it on like a song-by-song basis. You don't feel like you're restricted to doing one thing. You look at what you want to do and you can take it in this direction. Because some of your tunes are really pop-punk and kind of more Blink-182, and some are a little bit harder. It feels like each song is kind of its own little universe, if you like.
It's funny because we had this conversation actually coming up here. Just, you know, we can't just say we just do what we want to do, and it's the music that we want to write, and maybe some days it's a little bit moodier than other days. Just see how we feel when we pop into the rehearsal room, like.
Yeah, we're just making something that if we like it, if we like it, then great, and hopefully other people like it too, and it's a bit more authentic that way than us trying to just
stick in a box.
Chase a trend or box. And also I like to think we're quite fearless when we go into songwriting and into the studio and stuff. We always try something. Like if someone has an idea, we'll try it. Yeah. We'll give it a go. And if it doesn't work. But we'll never say, no, that's not our sound.
Let's talk about the new tune, Piece of You, brand new single. We're going to play it in a second. My take from it, listening to it, is it feels like a very frustrated, angry song. Is that the case?
So the song, like, to summarise, is basically about wanting to get revenge from someone who's like done you wrong or something that's not gone your way, but you know better than to try and get revenge, but you still can't shake that feeling and you still can't sort of get past it and come to terms with it.
I understand that it was supposed to be out in May of this year, so we're 4 months late. What was the delay?
A wizard arrives precisely when he means to.
Yeah. What's that, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Nice.
We're also super nerds. It wasn't ready, and we didn't want to put out something that we weren't happy with, so we just kind of held fire until it was a product that we were really proud of and had sort of the polish, because we've done it in the past where we've sort of rushed the release.
Yeah, just to stick to a schedule.
And we felt the negative effects of that.
We've done it in the past where we were trying to stick to a release schedule, and we've put songs out that and then we've gone back and listened to those songs like, could have been better, you know.
Well, I wish we'd done this, or wish we'd done that.
Could have done that a bit differently, and just little things like that.
Well, in that case, is this the best version of that song? Because obviously it's in the world now. Once the genie's out of the bottle, it can't go back in. Have you listened to it at any point and gone, if only we'd done this.
Joe, I think there's an element of that no matter what.
Yeah.
You're like, and especially when we play this, our tunes kind of over and over again, you'll always find a way where you go, oh, I should have done that a little bit differently. Or for me, where I've played the guitar solo in that song, like there's bits where I could have thought,
shit in it.
oh, yeah. I could have done that a bit better, or something like that. So, but I think that from what the idea that we had originally, it's definitely ticked that box, like done what we wanted it to do and put the momentum back into the scene for us anyway.
Nice one. Well, we'll get it on Freshly Squeezed. It's a belter of a tune, and cheers for coming on.
Thanks so much for having us, Jim.
Thank you, mate.
Play.
Strong start from Rivia on Freshly Squeezed. More of them in the podcast description, links and all sorts. Check it out if you want to find out more. But it's time to move on here, and we move on with Ollie and Will from the Harbours. How we doing, boys?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having us.
So 18 months in terms of your history as a band, and already a debut EP in the bag and in the world as well. Does it feel like it's moving pretty quick for you as a band at the moment?
It does. I feel like it's easy to get ahead of yourself and also get sort of behind yourself from day to day or week to week. But I think we're super happy with how far we've come in the first year and a half, and it's gone absolutely rapidly. It feels like we've only just started, but it's exciting things happening, and having an EP out we're very happy with.
I think one of the things that feels like it's accelerated your success is how well you've done in terms of online numbers, which are important nowadays. Your social numbers are good, your streams are really good as well. And part of that is down to a series that you became kind of TikTok famous for, Best FIFA Songs of All Time. Where did the inspiration behind doing that thread come from?
Yeah, that was definitely a turning point for us at the start of our journey. I mean, me and Ollie have played FIFA, all of our youth, and we always loved kind of the sound of FIFA songs. And that was when we were starting out the band, that was kind of one of the aims we had with our own music, was we want to get a song that sounds like it was on FIFA. So that was sort of the inspiration for behind the series on TikTok, where we covered all of our favorite FIFA songs, and clearly people really connected with it and led them to our own music as well. It was a sort of perfect storm that we didn't intend, but went really well for us.
For me, I think I discovered so many great bands via the FIFA soundtracks. FIFA 06, that's kind of the cream of the crop for me. That was the best ever in that genre. Was it the same for you? Is that where you've kind of found music discovery over the years?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when a song comes on, just on the radio or from Spotify, that you associate with FIFA, it's pretty much an instant connection. There are so many songs that we play regularly now and have come from FIFA. Some of the covers that we used to do live were pretty much FIFA songs. Love Me Again, John Newman. We played too many times live, to be honest.
You say you wanted to create a song that sounded like it was on the FIFA soundtrack. Ultimately, is that the ambition? Is it to get one of your tunes featured in the game?
It's definitely one of our highest ambitions. I'd say we've kind of gone in peaks and troughs of where we're putting our energy, but we would absolutely love that. As we say, we're in the studio today, actually, making the demo of our upcoming single, and one of the thoughts we have at the forefront of our mind is, let's make it sound like it could have been in FIFA. So yeah, we'd love to one day.
I think Carry Me Home definitely fits into that, which we're going to play in a bit on Freshly Squeezed. It feels like it could be within that soundtrack. So you've nailed that. Well done. You've got that one right.
Thank you.
In terms of a band name, so the Harbours, I know it came from a drinking game that you boys played when you were at uni, where you met as a band. I want to have a quick go at the game, if that's all right. So
sure.
As I understand it, I give you a category. You say how many things in that category you can name, and then I bet on whether you can hit that number, and the loser drinks. Is that kind of broadly right?
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
So your category is, you can do this together as a team,
Okay.
musical influences of the Harbours.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Well, I would start off low. I'd say 3.
Yeah, I think we could do 3.
Okay. And then what, do I have to outbid you? Because I'm not sure I've got much of a
you
chance.
have to say 4 or 5 or
Oh,
We'll have to
okay.
tell you if you're wrong or right.
yeah, we have to tell you.
Oh, okay. This has taken a twist. I reckon I could go a confident 4.
Okay, well, we'll say 5.
We can
Bang
do
it.
5.
Okay, I'm not sure I could go 5. So go on, name your 5, and I'll tell you if I've got any of those in the bag.
Okay, should we alternate?
We'll take it in turns, yeah.
Okay, I'll start off with one of our favourite bands of all time. A couple of guys that we've met, the Kooks.
I didn't have the Kooks.
We go Two Door Cinema Club.
Yes, I had Two Door Cinema Club. That was one of mine. Okay.
Viola Beach.
Oh, okay.
I'd say the Wombats.
Yeah, that was going to be my next one.
That was on my list as well. Okay, you got one more to name.
And then we are big fans of Capture from the Bottom End. Some of our earlier stuff was more influenced by it, so I'll say them. But some of the newer stuff has gone a bit more poppier, I guess. But we'll say Capture from the Bottom End and
a solid 5. The other one I had, which I think is definitely in there, I can hear it in there, is Vampire Weekend.
Oh, you know what? That is a great shout because we have spoke about that
Yeah.
before, so we forgot about that.
There you go. I think you win, though. I'm on the floor. I've done the shots. That's me out of the game. What I noticed about that list of names that you mention is you're from Leicester. No Leicester bands listed in there. And Leicester is undoubtedly a culturally rich city. But is it lacking a bit of a scene in terms of indie rock?
I mean, obviously, you'd have to throw Kasabian in there as the sort of forefathers of the Leicester scene, certainly in the past 20 or so years. But no, we'd love to make a bit more of a name for this part of the Midlands in the music scene, often overlooked, I think. So, yeah, we're proud to be from around here, and we'd like to take the scene with us if we can.
Because we say Leicester, but we're sort of in the middle of nowhere, we struggle to put a label on it. But a lot of our stuff we do in Nottingham and with BBC Introducing is BBC Nottingham. But, you know, we love being from Leicester, so no one's ever heard of it.
We're going to play Carry Me Home, as I said, from the debut EP. We're going to get that on Freshly Squeezed. Very summery, shimmery, loads of party vibes on there. Makes me think that this is an absolutely terrible time to release the song, just as we're going into autumn. But what I thought when I listened to the song and then I found out more about the band is I was really surprised that it's just the two of you, which I guess it's not so much of a challenge in the studio because you can kind of layer stuff and you can overdub and whatnot. But how do these songs transport into the live arena? How do you manage to kind of make them sound as full as possible when you do the live shows? Do you have session musicians around you or is it literally just the two of you?
Yeah, we've got two great guys, Oscar and Dan. Oscar plays the drums, Dan plays the bass and sings. They've been with us since our first ever gig, to be honest. We found them through social media and I still have the video Oscar sent me the first time. I asked him to play Pacifier by Capturing the Bottom Men on the drums and he absolutely killed it. So he was straight in and Dan's a good musician. So we love those two lads and they come everywhere with us and yeah, they fill out the band when we're playing live.
If they've been with you since the early days, where's the line between the Harbours being you two and them being, I don't know, the Harbours Plus or whatever?
Well, certainly still in the studio, the songwriting aspects up until now has always been the pair of us, but certainly over time as we get to know the boys better and they kind of understand the sound more and more, they are becoming more and more involved. So one day there certainly will become a point where it will be the Harbours as a unit, as a four-piece, I'm sure.
Boys, lovely to meet you. Good luck with the EP. I'm going to play Carry Me Home. It's kind of sweet and upbeat and poppy, proper noughties-esque anthem. I absolutely love it. But cheers for coming on.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
There's a side of mine I want to grow, a piece of dark inside. But I'll wait till tomorrow. I can dye my hair or change my clothes, keep it hidden away where no one goes. And I can't find a reason where no one goes. And I can't find a reason. Well, I know for sure you carry me home. It won't be long till I carry you.
brand new from the Harbours. If you like that, you'll also like the debut EP too. It's full of proper classic noughties indie bops. It's called Are You Nearly There Yet? It is out now, and there is a link in the bio. And we are nearly there in terms of the end of this episode of Freshly Squeezed. And to get us to that point, it's the brilliant Leeds band Apollo Junction, or Matt from Apollo Junction anyway.
Thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, great.
So you're flying solo today without any of the other members of the band. Is that normal that you're permitted to do these things unsupervised?
Well, I wouldn't let the other members talk. That's the that's the reality of it. Yes, I'm allowed to fly solo normally. It's well, we like doing things like this. It's fun, isn't it? Otherwise, you just get the same personality, the same member saying the same things.
As you're on and the other boys aren't listening in, is there anything you feel like you need to get off your chest early doors that you're not maybe allowed to normally talk about?
Oh, I never really thought about it.
It's your opportunity to slag them all off, mate.
Yeah, it would have been funny, that, wouldn't it? Oh, you know. No, I've got nothing to say. I mean, like, being honest, as cheesy as this sounds, we're all best mates. So actually, I'd only be saying something bad about my friends, and I love them all to pieces. Sorry to disappoint you.
On that topic, though, the idea that they are your best mates, this new album, which is out now, What in the World, has been pitched as your most honest LP as a band yet. Where does that come from? Where does the idea that this is Apollo Junction laid bare come from?
I think, like, and I don't want to criticize any other album that's been made because they've all been made against different backdrops of different things. But like the last album was a bit of a, not a struggle to get out because we loved doing it, but it was hard work, I guess. So we just kind of went back to writing, and it was like, let's just write songs that we know are going to be fun, and let's not overthink it. And if it's a bit messy in places, that's okay. And if you know, if it's not absolutely polished, that's fine too. And let's just make it an album that we would love. And hopefully we've done it. And we also wanted to do like a bit of a throwback to kind of like the early stuff because, you know, with 4 albums in, you can kind of forget where you came from. And so we just kind of pulled up the back catalogue and all of our old songs. But there wasn't any like sat down conversation of like, we've got to do this. It just, we kind of got to the end and it was like, well, that was really fun, that, wasn't it?
You've talked before about the challenges that you faced as a band, and you've talked before about how Apollo Junction almost ceased to be at one point. Did that refresh? Does that now feel like you've maybe got a longer future ahead of you because you've reminded yourselves how much you love it?
I think that's exactly right. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I don't think the band will ever end because I don't think our friendships will ever end. So there'll always be, whether it be on tour like we are doing and, you know, supporting some of our heroes and releasing new music, or maybe doing our own headline shows, or whether it's just 5 of us in a room playing together and then every now and again booking a venue and playing the gigs for old time's sake. Apollo Junction won't stop. It will just be what capacity we do it in.
As a band, you had a pretty big moment in terms of career earlier this year when you were supporting Doves at the Peace Hall. They're an iconic band, one of my favourite bands of all time. Talk me through what it was like picking up the phone and getting that call, someone going, yeah, Doves want you to support this gig.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. So it was Cuff and Taylor booked us for it at the Peace Hall, which is an amazing venue. We love the Peace Hall. We've been lucky enough to support Richard Ashcroft there, and we supported the Kaiser Chiefs there. And Doves are one of my favourite bands. And actually, I would say Doves are a very influential band on Apollo Junction. And I met them backstage and went up to them and, you know, was like, thanks so much for letting us support you. And then I had to apologise because I've been robbing their songs for the past few years. We're lucky to support heroes of ours, I guess. So that gig was Dove and Cast. Well, Cast, when I was a kid, were one of my favourite bands, and so were Doves. So, we're just lucky to support our heroes, I guess. But it was an amazing feeling.
You mentioned Doves, Cast there, Ashcroft, Kaiser Chiefs as well. But if you look at your support list, you've got Mannix on there, you've got Blossoms on there, Shed 7. What is the secret? Because there's bands out there that would kill to get on those slots, but you're managing to do it consistently.
We're lucky to have a really nice team around us that work with us. We're professional, as daft as it sounds. We know what we're there for. We're not there for our egos. We're there to support these bands and make them look good. And I guess we didn't give up. You know, like the dream dies when you give up, doesn't it? You know, like just because it doesn't happen Monday doesn't mean it's not going to happen Wednesday. You know, like you've just got to keep going and not give up. And I think the problem is a lot of people think, oh, well, I've given it 2 years, it's not going to happen. And it's like, well, you know, sometimes you've got to just keep going and keep going and keep going. If you love doing it more than you want the glory, if that makes sense, then it'll be fine. And if you're happy playing to 10 people, then it'll grow. Because if you can consistently play for 10 people for the rest of your life, then you'll be happy. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say by that?
Do it for the love of it, and the success is a byproduct.
If you put that at the core, and you're professional, and you know, if you get the chance, you make sure, you know, you conduct yourself in a proper manner, and you're nice. Yeah, like just be chilled and enjoy the experience, but be professional.
Okay, good lesson that. So the new album, What in the World, is out now. Cracking record. We can only pick one tune to play off it on Freshly Squeezed. So I thought we'd go with Settle Down, if that's all right for you, because it's an interesting tune. Vocals from Brianna Carrigan from the Beautiful South on this one. I know you were behind the writing of the tune. Was this written with her in mind on the vocals, or was it just a case of you wrote something and it did a female voice and then you went to find someone? How do the mechanics work of that?
You're going to love this story because it's 100% true.
Okay.
So my wife and I sold the place we were living in, and we were buying a new house, and we had to move out, and we had to move back in with my parents, and my parents live in a little town in Yorkshire. And I was walking through this little town, and I kept seeing people who I knew from when I was a kid who'd kind of not gone anywhere. And I don't mean that in a critical way. I really don't mean that in a critical way, but it just kind of brought me back to where my youth was. And I was like, oh yeah, you're that guy, and that was you, and there you go. And so I had this idea in my head, and it was like all about just not getting away really, but or maybe just going away, but your life being your home. And that was the kind of concept I had in my head. I didn't really have it nailed down. And then I wrote all the guitar for it first, because I wanted to make something that sounded a bit like the Smiths. I don't think it does, but, you know, I gave it a shot. And so I've got a little girl, I've got a daughter who's a really good singer. She sings in the Leeds Cathedral Choir and stuff. And so it was like she was in bed asleep, and I just had this idea, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I need a girl's voice on this. So, you know, much to my wife's protestations, I ran upstairs, was like, get up, come downstairs, I need you to sing on this track for me. So she sang on it, and I played it to the lads, and they were like, well, wow, this is really good. And then you know, we worked on it to finish it together, because that's what we do, you know, like worked on the lyrics together, and worked on the concepts together, and worked on the choruses together and stuff. And then Jamie said, I wonder whether we could get somebody bigger than my daughter to sing on it. And we sent it to Brianna. Now, Brianna teaches songwriting and is a bit of a genius, really. And she heard it and she just understood it. And I was sat chatting to her in the studio, and she's from a little town in Northern Ireland. And I was like, that's why you got it. And she was like, yeah, I completely understood the whole song, the whole meaning behind it. Yeah, we got her to sing on it, and I think it sounds amazing. Her voice sounds stunning. And actually watching her sing in the studio made it even more incredible. So we're really lucky.
It's a cracking track. I was surprised to hear that it was one of yours, because I think the guitar part on it feels very different to maybe the rest of the album, because normally I think your guitar playing is a bit heavier, it's kind of more driving. And I've actually written in front of me that the guitar on here is a bit lighter, Smiths-esque. So you're probably pleased to hear that someone else is hearing that as well.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going for.
Well,
yeah.
Was it a conscious effort to kind of go, I want to do something different? Or was it just you felt that was what this song needed in terms of treatment?
I just love the Smiths, and I was just like, I've never written anything that sounds like Johnny Marr. And you notice in the song it says Girl Afraid, Boy Afraid. I'd been listening to Girl Afraid by the Smiths, and I was like, I should write a song that sounds like this, sounds like that sounds like the Smiths. I don't think anyone makes any conscious efforts with this stuff. Sometimes it's just the magic that happens, I guess.
Right, well, we're going to play Settle Down. I encourage anyone to go and listen to the whole of the new album, because there's a load of belting tracks on there. But Matt, appreciate your time. Cheers for coming on Freshly Squeezed.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Take care.
Stop the day, stop the day. Here's your thoughts, are we ever gonna get away? In this town, faces never change. We were born streets that already knew our name.
Links to that new one from Apollo Junction are in the podcast description, as is where you'll find the whole of Apollo Junction's brand new album, What in the World. And as suggested by Matt in the interview, there is a lot of depth in that LP, so make sure you give it a spin. The song I played might not be completely representative of the rest of the album, but the album is an absolute belter. That's me done. Cheers for turning up again. Nice to see you. Let's do it again next week. In the meantime, make sure you are following this podcast in your chosen app of choice. That's if you're in Apple or Spotify. If you're somewhere else that's not Apple or Spotify, the button might look something slightly different, but if you're in one of those, it is a follow button. Give it a click, and then whenever we release a new episode, you'll get it straight into your podcast app, which is good. Also, keep the musical recommendations coming. You can leave a comment on Spotify, a review in Apple, or just get me on social media. This week, I'll put my handles in the podcast blurb so you can find it there as well. Cheers for your ears. I'll see you next time.
Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, was devised, produced and hosted by Jim Salveson. Sound design and additional production by Ant McGinley. Theme music, Blue Blazer, is written and produced by Spin Class. Stop.